I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome to another review, and of course this is of the 2000 film Primeval, which it says inspired by the true story of the most bloodthirsty crocodile alive, Primeval. Now the thing about this film, I remember when it came out back in 2007, it had a weird marketing campaign where the posters and the trailers, specifically the trailers I remember, made it seem like this was about a serial killer. Like the most notorious serial killer ever imagined, or he's the most notorious serial killer, and yeah, here, see if this will pop up. Like, this was like the poster, the promotional poster, if you can see it. And in red that says, inspired by the true story of the most prolific serial killer in history, Primeval. And you see a bunch of bones, or like, is it a cannibal? Is it like Hannibal Lecter? Or, Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer, and even the trailers, not all, but a lot of the trailers may seem like, okay, it's about a serial killer, but it's not. It's a killer crocodile movie. And that marketing campaign kind of leads to the film as well, where it pretends it's one thing, but it's kind of trying to be another movie all entirely. Now, it's directed by this guy, Michael Katelman, which the guy has only done TV, and after this he only did TV. Uh, Executive producer and directing stuff like Gilmore Girls, Birds of Prey, Smallville, True Calling. And he's gone to be like a producer and stuff on TV shows. The Vampire Diaries, stuff like that. I think Primeval is pretty much the only feature film he's directed. Could be wrong. And long story short, this is about, you have an American woman killed in Africa by this crocodile who people named Gustave. Yeah, I know, Gustave. But again, it's supposed to be based on a true story, so I guess they had to settle for the name Gustave. Uh, Now, she's killed. It gets into the news, even though Gustave has been killing hundreds of people down there. And you have Dominic Purcell, who's pretty much a TV reporter, and you have Orlando Jones as his sidekick, who's a cameraman, and they join with a woman, I forget what's the woman's name, Brooke Langton, I believe is her name in real life. And she deals with animal stories. She's another reporter, but she deals with animal stories. I want to get her character name's Aviva. But yeah, it's played by Brooke Langton. So the three of them pretty much have to go to Africa to look into the story about this killer crocodile, make a piece on it, possibly capture it, or at least capture it on film, and then go back to the States. When they get there, they meet a kid, character's name is Jojo, who he wants revenge on Gustave, so he joins them and he has a little friendship with Orlando Jones. And by the way, Diamond Purcell, the lead guy, you probably know him best from Prison Break. Now, I didn't watch Prison Break. I've heard of it, but I didn't watch Prison Break. Orlando Jones, you may remember him most as from the 7-Up commercials, who went, 7 up yours. Hey, make 7 up yours. I remember from Evolution, which he starred with David Duchovny. I enjoy that film. But they go down there, and also you have Jurgen Prochnow. He's been in a lot of films, In the Mouth of Madness, many other flicks, as a hunter. And then you have this other guy he's a wildlife expert, kind of a Steve Irwin type of guy. And they all are trying to catch this crocodile. Now, right off the bat, a problem with the film is that uh, it feels like there's two different films going on. There's that film, but then you're also dealing with this genocide that's going on in Africa, the civil war headed by this guy who has nicknamed himself Little Gustave. And he took his name from, of course, the crocodile. So this kind of dictator type of guy called Little Gustave who's leading it. And Orlando Jones, the cameraman, catches the guy killing some innocent people, and then one of their guides or one of their people supposed to help him is actually working for Little Gustav, and you have stuff like that that takes away from them searching for the crocodile. So, there are times throughout the film where that takes center stage. And to be honest, I didn't really care about that part of the storyline. It didn't really interest me. At times it tries to be like a political movie a little bit, but that didn't really interest me at all. I mean, hell, some of these characters pretty much get killed not from the crocodile. Like Jordan Prochnow, he gets shot by one of the assholes. The Steve Irwin type of guy, he doesn't even get killed by a crocodile. He gets killed because they see a helicopter think it's a rescue. He's running and he gets hit by a vehicle and gets shot and killed by the human bad guys. Now, there's a lot of monster movies with human bad guys, but this didn't really work well into the film. It made it rather boring creature feature, and I'm a fan of creature feature films. I think the best example of this kind of film is Alligator from the 80s, directed by Louis T., same guy who did Cujo, with Robert Forster. I believe John Sayles had a hand with the screenplay. That's a fun film. That knows what it is. It's very fun. It's straightforward. But this film doesn't really go straightforward with its plot of them catching the crocodile. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of yapping. And it's really yapping about bullshit you don't really care about. What's going on in Africa? This is going on. That's going on. When the first three get there, the woman, Orlando Jones, Diamond Purcell, they're on a boat with these two guys on machine guns, and these guys with machine guns are shooting these bad guys over here. It's not really interesting. As for the crocodile attack sequences, it is a CGI crocodile, so, depends how well you deal with crocodile CGI effects, I'll be honest, I like Lake Placid more. Those do not have the best effects. But Lake Placid, I just had a lot more fun because it was more straightforward. It was funny. I like the cast better. I don't know, that film I don't get shit on a lot. But there's another film I'll mention in a little bit that I think did it much better. But the few crocodile attack sequences that are in the film, I mean, the first one where the American woman is killed, you don't really see much. It's very shaky cam, very cut, very edited, very like, okay, I don't know what the hell happened. Yeah, one with the little kid Jojo trying to tempt the creature into this cage, and then the cage gets pulled in, and the crocodile comes down and flips over the cage. Yeah, this is okay. Nothing much to run home about. Probably I would say the most decent sequence is, because after that, then you have one of the soldiers they have on their team is actually a bad guy and shoots Jurgen Prochnow on the side, and they have to deal with that guy. One thing leads to another, and they get sort of on this kind of I don't know what you call it. It's on stands, but it's floating. It's on the river. I mean, it's on the water, but it's on stands where they can look out, and they don't wait there till, I guess, till morning, or at least trying to call for help. And the crocodile comes, and it attacks, hits one stand that crumbles, and people falling back and forth, falling into trying to almost fall into the water. The Steve Irwin type of guy. He goes onto this like little, I wouldn't say bridge, but walkway. The crocodile jumps out and he runs and jumps to safety back on. Because when it happened, they got split up. And it hits one, the other, and they're sort of trying, falling back and forth. And that's a decent little action scene, a tat sequence. I'll admit that. That was a decent one. But then Jordan Prod now, he knows he's going to die, so he wants to take it out, and he pulls a grenade, and this is where you get this scene here, where it grabs Jordan Prod down and flings him over to here, where, of course, it explodes. That whole sequence was decent, but that's like the only decent scene with the crocodile. The only other scenes you have is one with it's daytime, and then, again, that's when they think it's help, but it's not, and the Steve Irwin type of wildlife expert gets killed by the bad guys. They've been split up, and Orlando Jones finds himself by him, and he's bleeding, and the crocodile goes after him. He runs, thinks he gets away because crocodile gets stuck in a tree, but then he runs a little bit further. Crocodile breaks out, and you see Orlando Jones running, crocodile going after him, and then it fades to white. You're like, what the fuck? Well, I guess they had shot the scene where it killed Orlando Jones, and, you saw the whole thing, but test screens didn't like that, so they cut that out. Instead, you find his body later on. It's discovered later on. So I know the black guy, the coward leave, gets killed. Big surprise. I know the white guy and the white girl live. But the black common sidekick dies. Which that I did not like, because I actually liked Orlando Jones. I mean, granted, he's playing the same, oh, he's the black guy who's this comic relief, but I like Orlando Jones as an actor. I think he's a funny guy. I liked him in Evolution, for instance. He has some funny lines here, like this guy, Jojo, the little kid he kind of bonds with, really wants to go back to America, and there's a point where he saves their lives, and Orlando Jones goes, Jojo, I don't care if I have to stuff you up my ass through customs. We don't get you to America. Like, the way he said it, maybe it's not, I'm doing a poor job with it. The way it just made me laugh. And he was a likable guy. I much would rather prefer the film that he became the lead. I think that would have worked better. And not just, I'm not just saying that because, oh, he's in Africa, so it would kind of be a cooler motif, but, he was probably my favorite character in the film. I think it would have been nice if he, had to step up and survive, and, if it was more of a story about the crocodile. Like, leave the political bullshit aside. If you put in there a little bit, but make the hunt for the crocodile be the main focal point without these tangents about the Civil War. To the point where, your finale should be, I think it should have had Orlando Jones against this crocodile. Maybe in a weird way, not flagrant and blatant. Almost like he's got to get to, okay, he's in Africa, he's got to go old school on the crocodile. Although I'm sure people complain saying, oh, yeah, that's racist. What? Oh, yeah, he's going to go to his tribal roots and he's got to do a spear. And I'm like, no, it's just a survival movie. Come on. I think it'd be fun. Think about how many creature feature films do you see where the black guy is the one who rises to the occasion, becomes serious, and has to go mano a mano with the creature. You probably count on one hand how many creature features that is. That's just my opinion on it. Plus, I liked Orlando Jones' character. But that's not the case, and they meet with this guy. Of course, he is little Gustave. and he wants it to appear where they, that has the stuff that they film, the killings. DC was the one there doing the killings. And the crocodile had this tracker, and Dominic Purcell and the woman leads them to this tracker, and that's when he finds Orlando Jones' body. And they fight with the bad guys, and they run, and the crocodile comes and kills little Gustave. Pretty much the only gore in the movie, really, where you see the guy get grabbed, and then you see a crunch and blood, and like you see like the head and the crocodile's mouth kind of pop like a water balloon. Poop. Yeah, that was decent as well. I mean, it's heavily CGI, but sometimes you take what you give, or give what you take, or deal what you can take, or take what you can get, whatever the fuck expression is. But as for the film itself, Dominic Purcell, not the most interesting fella to cast into a movie. Maybe he's more decent in Prison Break. He was not the worst guy I've seen, but I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan of him. I mean, he had some decent moments, uh, but at the same time, not the most charismatic guy. Not, pretty much, a piece of stone, so to speak, or brick marble, whatever the hell you want to call it. But he was decent, but at the same time, like, kind of like a bit meh on his performance. Didn't really care about anybody else except for Orlando Jones, and of course he died. He's the black comic relief sidekick. Uh, it's not all about the political Civil War stuff, but it's a lot of yapping and yapping. It's like a big setup to them getting to hunt the crocodile, and they set up the cage, and then they just wait, and they need a few things, and then it's a lot of the Civil War bullshit where they gotta be chased by these bad guys because they filmed something. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's based on a true story, so I guess if that's the true story, maybe they're being truthful to it. So if that's the case, then I can't really say much about it. Although at the same time, you have to wonder how much of this is true, so to speak. You know. So if they were willing to take liberties on that, then they could take liberties on more shit, is what I'm getting at. I doubt this is really, like, as true as, say, a documentary would have been on the subject. Let's be real. So, not enough excitement at all. Not enough crocodile action at all. Only a few tops. The cast really didn't do nothing for me except for Orlando Jones. The ending, a little bit of wheat sauce, basically. Dominic Purcell and the lady, and then JoJo's in the back. They try and get their car. The crocodile goes through. He's kind of inside the car. Dominic Purcell stabs him a few times. It retreats and goes back. And then they go to back in America, and Tower Cards basically reads that Gustave still hunts around that particular area, river. So in all, pretty boring movie, to be honest. At least to me, it's a pretty boring flick. Hampered down by a lot of political, the Civil War, and the bad guy of Little Gustave and such, and the typical killing of Orlando Jones' character, which I think would have been more interesting if he became the lead and had to hunt the crocodile, and, but again, that's not the true story. Well, fuck. All the trailers and fucking promotional material said this was a fucking serial killer movie. It's not like they were trying to be as honest as possible with the audiences. And that's how because this film fucking flopped hard. When it came to the DVD time, they made it explicitly clear that it was a crocodile movie. But, from the promotion and trailers, they want you to believe it was a serial killer. Or a cannibal or something. Now, so yeah, it's really a boring film. Not that good at all. Film I was talking about that has done this much better, that had to be postponed because of this film. This film, Rogue. Much, much better film. Between these two films, this one is much, much better. These two films, this one is a much better flick. This is how, it's like they're trying to do the same thing. This did it right. I mean, it takes place in Australia. Yeah, it's by the same director, Wolf Creek. But I like the cast better. You got Rhoda Mitchell. You got Michael Vartan. You got Sam Worthington before he made big with Avatar and Clash of the Titans and stuff. Much more straightforward, fun, entertaining flick. Much more exciting ending. Much more crocodile action. um, Definitely, more gore and stuff. Probably not as gory as the picture, but still, this is a much better film than Primeval. And this didn't get much of a theatrical release, which is fucking sad. But this one did. It got dumped in January in theaters, but still. But this one, unfortunately, they didn't release much. Instead, mainly more on the DVD market. It's Dimension Extreme. A lot of their titles are not the best, but as for what I've seen so far, this is the best film I've seen with the Dimension Extreme logo on there. This was done right. The mistakes this film made, this film didn't. So the best way to put it is disregard this, just check Rogue out. Be a much better movie and better time. But either way, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you later. Ciao.